Before we keep going with today's session, it is so important that we do an acknowledgement of traditional lands. Royal Roads University acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Cosapsan, the Esquimalt, and Lekwungen Songhees ancestors and families. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. Welcome. All right, so to make sure everybody's in the right room today, we are doing a webinar on the Master of Global Management. Welcome. So with me today, I have Dr. Deb Linehan, who is the program head, Tim Kituri, program manager, and my name is Emara Angus, and I'm an education specialist. In addition, we also have our knowledgeable enrollment team monitoring the chat, so they'll be there to answer any of your questions. So we have Tracy Summers and Kelsey Phillips. So we have a great crew today. We also have Francisco here, who is tech support. So if you have any tech support needs during today's session, just direct message Francisco. All right, yeah, it really takes a village to put on a webinar. So today's session is all about kind of welcoming and get to know one another, which is what we're doing right now. I actually have a really quick poll that I want to pop up on my screen for everybody. So I'll have you look at your screen right now because I want to get to know the people in the room. We want to know who you are. So I'm going to launch that poll right now. You can see it on your screen there. So the first one is, which MGM program delivery are you interested in? And you can select all that apply. And the other question is what, and I should offer the options just in case you're listening to the recording later. So all that apply are MGM on campus, MGM blended, which is a combo of online and residency, and not sure yet. And it's okay if you're not sure what program delivery you're interested in. We're going to go into that today. And the other question is, what piqued your interest in the MGM program? And so the options are delivery options available, like on campus or blended, program completion options, personal interest, you have an international background, transitioning or changing careers, and other. And if you select other, pop in the chat what your reason is. We're really curious. We'd love to know. Okay, I'm going to have this poll up for 3 more seconds, and then I'm going to end the poll. Okay, so cast your answers. Okay, so it looks like in the room today, we have 88% of participants are interested in the MGM on campus, with about 12% interested in the MGM blended. We also have a pretty even split across all the different things that made people interested in the MGM, with leaders in personal interest and have an international background. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your results and your answers. Okay, we're also going to go through a brief overview of the Royal Roads University Experience. We're going to dive into program information. We'll then go through the application process and requirements and questions answered throughout. So do not hesitate, do not be shy. You can pop your questions in the chat whenever they come up and we'll do our best to answer them. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we're in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. So we are on Vancouver Island, which is a very big island right off the coast of British Columbia. The closest nearest cities are Vancouver and Seattle. And top 3 industries in Victoria are advanced technology, tourism, hospitality, and education. And we are one of the mildest climates in Canada. We do not get snow very much here. Actually, in fact, when we get snow, none of us know what to do with it because we're not used to it. We typically are about 6 degrees Celsius in the winter, 25 degrees in the summer. You can go for bike rides and hikes and beach walks almost every day of the year here. It's truly a beautiful place to live. And here are some images of our space. So the top left is Hatley Castle. You might actually recognize Hatley Castle from movies such as Deadpool or X-Men. Actually, if you can use the reactions feature and give me a thumbs up if you recognize Hatley Castle from one of those movies, I would love to know. And give me a party emoji if you don't recognize Hatley Castle or you haven't watched those movies, but you're planning on it. Awesome, I see some thumbs up coming through the chat there, awesome. So the top right is an image that kind of depicts our Japanese garden within our Royal Roads gardens. We have a beautiful expanse of gardens here, and it's a great place to wander through any time of the year as a study break or after a day of studying on campus. It's truly beautiful. And the bottom left is an image of a Esquimalt lagoon. So we overlook this beautiful lagoon. It's actually a bird sanctuary. It's stunning, and you can see it from Hatley Castle on campus. And the bottom right, we've been teaching and learning online for over 25 years. So we are experienced in that, and that's just an ode to our experience with learning and teaching online at Royal Roads University. And so many of you here today are wondering why explore Royal Roads University. And so here at Royal Roads, we see life as a qualification. And we'll talk more about that when we dive into our flexible and standard admission. But we understand that every single person in the room here today is joining us with a different background, a different career background, and has a different kind of career path in mind. And that is what makes everyone here unique. And that's also what makes our cohort of students unique. We're also really big on getting to know the individual. So here at Royal Roads, profs know your name. We get to know you very quickly. You're way more than a student number here here at Royal Roads to us. And learning based on life. When you're learning here at Royal Roads, there's not that division between theory and practice. It's all integrated. So what you're learning in the classroom, you can pretty much apply the very next day. And at Royal Roads, we have a cohort model. So what that means is you are going to be learning alongside your colleagues or your students, and you're going to be building connections for life. The network that you're building at Royal Roads, you will stay in touch with for the rest of your life. And we were built differently from day one, and we're going to talk more about that throughout today's session. We're also a Changemaker campus here at Royal Roads. So what does that mean to be a Changemaker campus, you might be wondering? So the Ashoka Youth Changemaker Campus designation, it recognizes colleges and universities that have embedded social innovation as one of our core value. And here at Royal Roads, we believe in leading and empowering others to lead positive change in the world. And now I'm so pleased to welcome up Dr. Deb Linehan and Tim Kituri, who will be speaking about our program structure. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Emara. It's really delightful to hear your introduction and to see the participation engagement already, and such a very cool group joining us this morning. I'm program head for MGM. I've been teaching and working at Royal Roads for quite a few years now in a variety of capacities. MGM is my favorite. And I'm not just saying that. I've taught in MBA and the College of Interdisciplinary Studies, but I love the diversity and interests of our students and people. It's very, very satisfying. And my buddy, Tim, that makes it all the most fun, hanging out with our program manager, Tim.
Hi, everyone. Such a pleasure to be here. My name is Tim Kituri. I'm the program manager. My role is to support the students in their learning journey. I've been at Royal Roads, I think, for about 15 years, 7 of those with MGM, originally from Kenya, and found my way to Victoria via Halifax. And this is just a wonderful place to be. Really a pleasure to be here and talk about Royal Roads, this experience, and how we can support you in achieving your goals. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. And yes, thanks, Emara. So, Master of Global Management, our favorite topic. I think what's very interesting about this degree is that it appears to attract a very unique, a special group in my mind that is very interested in global issues. They're aware of global issues. They have bicultural competencies often. I was reading a recent research report by Royal Bank looking at, the future competencies that will be required in our world, right? What are the new skills we need? And they highlighted global competencies, cultural awareness, language, adaptability. And I think it's so appropriate. Canada itself is really changing in many dynamic ways. By 2030, we'll be probably one of the more multicultural countries. And So I think it's a really good time to be learning. Coming off the pandemic, wow, we've all been thinking about transitions. It's a time to pivot, to invest in ourselves, and learning, I think, is a luxury. I love learning. And I think what you'll also find is that we have a lot of alumni, people that keep coming back to Railroads. Tim's a graduate. A lot of the people on the line have already done Railroads programs. So we're very excited about the Master of Global Management, one of the largest programs on the Railroads campus. Yes, so let's dive into the program. Next slide, please. Thanks, Emara. I think what is really a great hallmark of the MGM program is its flexibility in delivery options. So you've got your basic core program, 12 courses, and then you've got some completion options, and that's designed to give you a good foundation in the core kind of functional topical areas, and then allow you to take that latter part of the program and really dive into the specialties that you're interested in. So it's kind of combining the best of both worlds. And its delivery options as well is combining, what works for people. So the on-campus delivery tends to be people who are, can go to school full-time. They many have part-time jobs, but they're on campus. And yes, we are back on campus. So after 2 years of pandemic, my goodness, we invited in the January intake. It was so fun. We had students from 18 different countries, such diverse interests and professional backgrounds, all different age groups, work experience, anywhere from 2 years to 15 years. And they're already, I'm teaching an intercultural class with them right now, and it's really fun. So we're on campus, we're back. The 12 months is a very, very condensed program. The 18 months is what most people select. And that in itself is a pretty intense program. It's really 24 months condensed into 18 months. And that includes the completion specialty piece. So it's a pretty busy program. And who wouldn't want to be on campus in this beautiful place in Victoria that Emara highlighted? It's a magical time. And then our blended delivery. So combining all the best of all worlds. We have a nice residency to start the program where you get to come to campus, and then we finalize the program with an international residency. So one on campus and one somewhere else in the world. And then the courses staggered in the middle. So nice for full-time working professionals. But each of these deliveries, all of them are exactly the same curriculum. So it's, I think that's just combining the various options and flexibility. We have 4 intakes per year. It's a lot of course options, and some people have slipped back and forth between the on-campus and blended delivery. I think Kelsey may talk about this later, but the on-campus 18-month program, depending on your own situation, could qualify for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So covers a lot of the basis for a lot of people, I think, anyway. Yes, thanks, Kelsey, for the note there. And so next slide, and I'll let Tim dive into the details. Go for it, Tim.
Thank you. Yeah, I see this a lot, and we, as Deb was mentioning, just welcomed an intake that started in January. So we have a January intake, May, and 2 in September on campus, and our blended. So the program starts with the foundations, and this means that we start soft. As we also mentioned, we have so many people from a diverse set of backgrounds and the majority have not been to school, formal education in a while. So it is a shock to the system to get back to academic learning and academic thinking. So we start off with foundations, which is a little bit slower. There's one course that is delivered at this time. And the foundations is a time to get to understand the culture of the university, the program, and the cohort, your intake mates, and familiarize yourself with the learning and teaching model. Then foundations is typically 2 weeks with 1 week online. So a total of about 3 weeks of a soft launch into the program. Then we start our 4 on-campus quarters. Quarter 1, there's 3 courses and all the way to 4 quarters and 12 courses in total. And I'll have to stress that this is for the on-campus delivery, the 12 and 18 months. The 12 months is one of our more challenging deliveries, because as you're completing your last 2 quarters, 3 and 4, you will also be doing a research project. And that is not easily done. It's not for the faint of heart. And we normally encourage students that have an academic background, the ability to write academically, to consider this option. For the majority, after the completion of the 12 classes and 4 quarters, they then jump into completion options. And this opens up the variety of internships, graduate certificates, research project. And that's what the 18-month structure looks like. And will allow us to talk about the 19-month blended in the next slide. And this is it. And it starts off with typically the same structure. So at the beginning, there are 2 residencies, which means that you're in residence either with us on campus or in residence with us in an international location. So it starts with a foundations, same idea as we did in the 18-month, a slow start, some familiarization with the structure of the program. And then we have a 2-week residency in Victoria, fully face-to-face, 2 weeks on campus, you're in class. It is a very busy time that we like to introduce you to, to the most part, the learning and teaching model and your cohort, your classmates, your instructors. It is about learning as a community. So with the on-campus program, you are together for 12 months and you're in class every day. With the blended model, it is a shorter 2-week space of time that you learn together and you get to know each other. And you get to see each other face to face, and you get to talk and exchange ideas. And it is a time that you get to truly build those connections and bonds as a cohort, as a group of like-minded intellectual learners. We then move into online delivery. So there are 5 online delivery distance learning deliveries, and we're doing 2 courses at a time. And in the 4th one, it is when we have our 2nd international residency experience. And this is us taking you to a destination overseas. I joined the group 2 years ago when we went to Germany. We were in Munich for a week, and it was a really, really cool experience. The 2 courses that run in this period are the supply chain and change management course. So we visited about 6 companies. We went to a factory in BMW manufacturing plant, and we saw a BMW recycling plant where they trashed the brand new vehicles that they didn't quite make the spec. It was, I think, one of the most high security areas that we've been to. We had to leave cell phones in the security gate, and it was quite interesting to watch. And it was talking through the supply chain and supply management of the course. So the instructor had, to our former program head, Dr. Hassan Wafai, was teaching some of the lectures on the trains back to the hotel. So that's a very, very cool experience that you get embedded in the context of a global business operation, and discuss it both from the change management perspective and the supply chain perspective. And that is our second international experience. And we finish off with the completion options, which apply the same as either a research project, an internship, or graduate certificates, and a variety of other completion options that are coming online in a little bit. That is our program structure. And speaking of completion options, the MGM is a generalized program. We don't really have the traditional specialization like other institutions have. So you'll not see us as having finance or accounting or marketing areas of expertise that you could complete in. And this is where we then allow students to specialize, is through a variety of completion options. And I'll maybe just walk through a couple and let them speak to the details of some of them. So there's the Global Management Project, which is akin to a research project. Think of a thesis, but very, very applied and professionally oriented, not as much driven to academic deliveries, but more applied, but with a very, very strong and deep academic foundations. The internship is a research project that requires the student to do the research in an organization, so embedded within an organization. It has specific requirements and supported by an internship prep course, a career management course that is a prerequisite for this completion option. And then we have close to 25 graduate certificates and completion course-based options that students can choose from a variety of Royal Roads specialization. So we have graduate certificates, for example, project management, human resource management, and very, very geared to professional orientations. Maybe Deb, you'd speak a little bit to.
Yeah, there's always lots of questions about the completion options. And Tim always says, be strategic, know what you want as you go into the program, because, when you're taking your courses and, thinking about what piques your interest, thinking about what your future career aspirations are, then these completion options are so instrumental, but they're just fun and there's no wrong answer. So, and I love them all. So Global Management Project is that research piece. I'm very proud of some of our students. We've had, I think, 8 now publish their papers in journal articles, so academic journals, which is not an easy feat. Many of them have been working with faculty as research assistants. Some of them are using the Global Management Project to kind of develop a thought leadership expertise in a particular topic. And that allows them to be very marketable in the job market. And some just pick up stuff that they're just interested in, just for the joy of learning. So we assign supervisors during this piece and work with the students through the process of doing research. Doing research is such a good skill. Having those scholarly competencies allows you to, even in a management role, to think more critically, to use information and evidence-based data more exactly. And so research, I think, is for everyone. And of course, anybody who's thinking of doing a PhD later, then it's good to signal that that's your wish. And yes, Taranji, all these options are open to all the candidates. Then the internship, equally cool, but a little bit different at Royal Roads than anywhere else. It's not a co-op. It's not just a job. We're sending you out in the world to fly your colors, show what you can do after you've finished all the core courses. So when you work in the company, you then do an applied research project there as well, but it's very tailored to that job situation. And we've had, again, terrific successes there with students. Tim and I were just talking about a few stories before the call today. The one fellow did a piece on lean management And, you know, he was just such a hot, he's such hot commodity for employers, really wanted to hire him after that. We just graduated a student yesterday who did his internship on thermal energy for a project in 2 cities, and that helped his company win a bid. We've had students also publish in the internship, one that did a piece on international students and published that at through and is working at Camosun College. So quite a few very interesting options here. The sky's the limit on that one. The graduate certificate courses, oh, sometimes I think there's almost too many options to choose from. We have 26 graduate certificates at Royal Roads currently. We've just opened up a new one that specializes in finance, but like Tim says, they're all subjects: project management, human resources, innovation, sustainability, climate. All the grad certs within Royal Roads University are open to you. Tim's going to talk to you in a minute about how you get additional industry credentials as well. But when you're doing these graduate certificates, and it's another credential you can put on your resume, that's a signal to the employer that this is the field that you want to go into. We also have course-based options. So we have a number of courses that, you know, you could select 2 additional courses in the MBA program, or the School of Communication and Culture, or the college, or any of the other faculties in Royal Roads. And we have partner universities globally that have specialized courses. Maybe you're interested in data analytics or big data, those sorts of things, where you can take a completion course through those universities because we have those prior arrangements. We have a program with MIT, the illustrious MIT. That one's not for the faint of heart, though. If you're interested in that one, we should talk. But we've had several students do it. So anything is possible and everything is possible for all your interests. So let's, Tim, do you want to talk about the industry credentials of these additional partnerships we have?
Yes, please.
In the next slide.
And so as we, in the previous slides, we talked about how we scaffold the program. So started with the foundations, then we go into our core courses, and then into completion options. And throughout that journey, we talked to you in depth about the various options. And at this point, I think you're trying to determine where to go for your education, what would work best for you. Can you see yourself at Royal Roads? And this variety of options, I think, is to demonstrate that whatever you want, there's a way that we can adapt this program to fit your needs. There's everything for everyone in almost every industry. We have seen it all. And I think this is the beauty of the MGM. Not only does it meet everybody's needs, but in the cohort, you're working with such a diversity of people with interests, and that the programs itself is recognized by industry. And this is one of the credentials that you can get through Royal Roads. We're working on recertifying with FIT, the Forum for International Trade Training. This is a professional organization with the headquarters in Ottawa that look through certification for people that are in that space of international trade, and specifically Canadian Foreign Service going into international trade. This is the credential that that fits in that need. The CITP, Certified International Trade Practitioner, recognizes the MGM courses as meeting the academic requirements of the industry certificate. And the next slide will show the through some of our graduate certificates, the industries that recognize. So through project management, there's the Project Management Institute, the MGM, and the graduate certificate in project management combine with accreditation towards that industry recognition as meeting the academic requirements. So specifically that graduate certificate in project management, our graduate certificate in the strategic human resource management aligns with the CPHR. There's the International Coach Federation that is represented in our graduate certificate in executive coaching. And there's also the Association of Change Management Professionals, as well as multiple other organizations that recognize the academic path of the MGM and graduate certificates as meeting those industry credentials. And this again for me is a validation that the academic experience is also very, very formally rooted in practical knowledge, practical application. Next slide.
Thanks, Tim. And there's even more accreditations or partnerships than listed there. I'm thinking of the Canadian Association of Management Consultants. Sometimes our students want to go into business for themselves, and so that's always an option. And we didn't list it here in our completion option, but we have another one, and that is the dual degree with the MBA program. So that's probably a bigger topic for another time, right, Emara? But once you have your MGM degree, you qualify to get a dual degree with MBA by taking just 6 more courses. And then so lots to think about. I just want to chat about, what's the outcome of all this, your learning outcome. And I'd like to do that in concert with some comments about what do you need, job skills, to be successful in your careers professionally. And 83% of human resources say that if there's a skills shortage, they're having trouble finding people. In Canada, we are demographically, we're graying out. We need more talent. We need more people. I think there's 2.4 million jobs to be created in the next couple of years in Canada. So it's a good time for career professionals such as yourselves. But what are the skills you need? So we like to put this in context of, it's not, we're moving from a jobs economy to a skills economy, and flexibility is the future. So our learning outcomes are based on those more broadly based skills that you learn that are not specific to a thing, so that you can change careers, so that you can move to different roles, so that you learn how to learn. And I'm very pleased to say that these 6 learning outcomes are embedded in the way we have our teaching model set up, and they really are very effective in building your confidence, in making you very marketable in the future, and just thinking critically. As we know that there's going to be technological unemployment, and so the future is all about human skills, and what can humans uniquely do. And I love that, because humans are the most interesting anyway. But to think critically is to learn how to read critically, to write critically, and to synthesize all of your learning. To communicate effectively is one of the top job skills always on job applications. To solve problems in this applied world more than ever. To work with others. We work very intently with each other, but you also are assigned a team coach, so you learn some skills in that too. And to think globally, I think that's the real flavor of MGM, is that we overlay that global lens on every course. So let's go to the next slide. And to Hiromi, not to worry, we do an accounting or a math prep as you go through the program, because we realize that it's been a while. So don't be fearful of quantitative. So that's kind of the MGM program in a snapshot. It's academically rigorous. It has that international focus. multiple accreditations, flexible choices. It's graduate level for sure, the research. And having this combination of delivery options, I think, is very flexible. The cohort-based learning is in itself such a special experience. And that's why you see a lot of alumni come back and do more programs at Railroads, because you're combining kind of those wonderful experiences of working and talking with others, having those deep discussions. We call it constructed learning, when you learn from others too. And it's a real community. This picture that you see is real people, on our international residency. And lastly, I just want to say the part that is most exciting to me is you're really leveraging your global interests, your kind of multicultural competencies, and the value to Canadian society now greater than ever, and organizations. So I think, you kind of all signed in here today with that. I was surprised to see that in the poll. So, well, not surprised. So you belong here. I think it seems like a good fit. We sound like we're really bragging about the program, Timmy. I've got to contain myself, but we are very
Oh no, this is the place to do
passionate.
it.
It is life-changing. It's a real transformation. Okay, next slide. So what kinds of jobs? Oh, well, because it is a generalist program and you design your own specialty, we see students, go into many different types of organizations. We just listed a few here. I would say in general, a lot of the financial institutions, we see provincial and federal government. Tim was just telling me another one of our students just got a job as an advisor role to the Ministry of Transport. So all different types of organizations and all across Canada and internationally. Next slide, please. And then therefore the types of roles are quite variable in them as well. So it's hard for us to keep track of all the different types of positions. So I think, the message is it's for you to design your learning by design. Let me put it that way, by your design. So that's the unique part of it. So I think that's all the things that we wanted to say about the program. If we go next slide, and then I didn't know if you're taking questions now, Emara, or later, or I've been trying to watch the chat too.
Mhm. Maybe Deb, you could, there's one question that might need a little bit of time, the question on how it differs from an MBA.
Yes. Well, it depends, MBA, in which university you're thinking of. At Railroads, the MBA is more designed for senior leadership. So the executive type roles, the entrance requirements are you need 10 years management experience. And so that's kind of the flavor of their program, whereas the MGM is more as it's for management and decision making and training global leaders. So it's that would be kind of on the top of it, the differences. I don't know if that helps or not.
And what we can do is I'll kind of take over from this part on, and then Deb and Tim, check out the chat. You can answer questions there. And then what we'll do is we'll, after we go through the how to apply, we'll then have a question and answer period where we address the questions some more. So how does that sound? Does that work for everybody here?
Yeah.
Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Because some of our the questions might even be addressed through the how to apply. So we'll start going through that now. And yeah, it's great to see so much engagement in the questions in the chat. Keep them coming. Awesome. So now we're at the point where you know more about the program and you want to apply, or maybe you've already started your application and you're kind of here in this webinar to just make sure it's the right fit for you. So let's keep going now. Let's see here. So as we mentioned at Royal Roads University, we have both standard and flexible admissions because we understand everyone is coming from different experience and different background. So I'm going to just outline the standard admissions. And before I keep going, I want to mention all of this is on our website. So this information is easily accessible on our website so you can see what admission is best for you. And we do assess everyone on a case by case. So don't self-select yourself out if you're not sure which, if you're standard or flexible, or if you're the right fit. Connect with us because we do assess everyone on a case by case basis. So for standard admissions, the completion of a 4-year or comparable undergraduate degree in a related field with a minimum GPA of a B from a recognized post-secondary institution, and a minimum of 2 years of relevant full-time work experience when not enrolled in school, and preferably with some supervisory or management experience. And applicants who meet the degree requirements, but not the GPA requirement, will normally be required to take academic writing and critical thinking and obtain a minimum final grade of B. And Tracy and or Kelsey will pop the academic writing and critical thinking link in the chat so you can read more about what that is. And then if you're looking to enter through flexible admission, it's applicants without an undergraduate degree, but more than 3 years of related post-secondary education with an average below a B should have at least 4 years of relevant full-time work experience, including some management experience. In addition, applicants with 2 to 3 years of related post-secondary education should have at least 6 years of relevant full-time experience, including at least 2 years in a management role. And applicants with less than 2 years of related post-secondary education should have at least 10 years of relevant full-time work experience, including at least 5 years in a management role. So you can, as you can see, there's a lot of flexibility around this. So there's lots of options to fit you best. And we also do have a language requirement. English is the primary language of instruction at Royal Roads University. So if your primary language is not English, you must meet our English language requirement through one of 3 ways. So either a submission of an official English language proficiency score, graduation from a college or university at which English was the primary language of instruction in an English-speaking country, or completion of a pathway program through the Global Learning and Language Center at Royal Roads University. And key dates, as Deb was mentioning, we have lots of intakes. So the next intakes here for the on-campus 12 and 18-month option is the start date would be September 5th, 2022, and the application deadline is June 6th, 2022. And if you're interested in the blended 19-month option, the intake start date is September 5th, 2022 as well, with an application deadline of June 6th, 2022. And you don't have to wait for the application deadline to apply. You can apply now. The earlier, the better to apply. So how to apply? We ask that you go onto our website and you start up an account with us. So it's an online application. You pay a fee of $128 and some change, and that is the start of your application. In addition to your application, you do need to provide supporting documents. So things like official transcripts. So that is any of your transcripts from past post-secondary education, and it's sent to us in a sealed envelope or from the institution itself, or sent by the institution by email. In addition, you also do need to submit a detailed resume. So this would be something more than just what you would use to apply for a job. We really want to get to know you. So your detailed resume will outline so many different things, like including your work experience, any volunteer experience. We want to know of any memberships or associations that you're part of. We really want to get to know you through your resume. In addition, you'll be submitting a statement of intent. So I recently applied to a program at Royal Roads University, and by far my favorite part of the application process was writing my statement of intent, because your statement of intent is really your why. It's all about why are you applying to this program, and it really helps you realize what your intention is, what your motivation is, and where you want to go. So it really just helps you understand your why. So I really enjoyed writing the statement of intent. And in addition, you'll also need to submit a writing sample and 2 letters of reference. So my recommendation around the 2 letters of reference is if you write your statement of intent first, and then you share it with the people that you've asked to write your letters of reference. That way they can understand your why and incorporate that into your letters of reference. And Deb, do you have anything else that you'd like to add? I know the last webinar, you made a few mentions of things for students to look out for.
In the application part, sorry.
Yeah, and in the supporting documents. Is there anything that you really like to see in people's resumes or statements of intent?
I think that when we adjudicate the applications, and the folks on the line will attest to this, the statement of intent is one of the most interesting and important pieces. I like to see the story. I like to see the passion, the drive to learn. Why this? Why now? We don't always know the outcomes or how this might transform our future, but we came here for a reason, and I think your points, Emara, are right on. It's a time of reflection. So make it authentic, make it real. Because we want to learn about you. That helps us to make the decision. We can read your transcripts and all those supporting documents, see how you qualify. That's not the whole story at all. Yeah, I don't know if that helps, but yeah.
That does. Thank you so much for adding that. All right, we shall keep going. So we understand that education is a big investment. It's a worthy investment, but it can be, it's an investment. So we do have financial aid available. I highly recommend looking into financial aid if that's something you're considering right now while you're starting your application, to see the different options available. Our financial aid and award specialists are really knowledgeable, and we have a really a lot of information on our website too around this. So you can check out resources around loans, awards, scholarships, and other funding. So check out the financial aid and awards website. And as you can see already from the comments and the replies in the chat, our enrollment team is here to support you. They are here to help you with program details, application process walkthrough, here to help you navigate standard and flexible admission, transfer agreements, all of those different things. So do not hesitate to pop a question in the chat right now, or if you want to reach out later, they are here to support. And this is the contact information for our enrollment advisors. We have learn.more@royalroads.ca if you're a domestic Canadian student, or if you're coming from abroad and are an international student, you want to use learn.more.international@royalroads.ca.
I just want to make another comment, Emara, if I may. I just want to do a shout out to the whole Royal Roads community, how we support the students, because this is not a massive, big university. It's a very personal university. We have a lot of students, certainly on the go all the time, but we know you, and all the staff and faculty work so hard to help students. I think it's a very personalized campus in that sense. And so it, like you said, it takes a village. It really does take all of these folks in all these various roles to support their unique needs. There's life happens, things are always happening. People are always jumping in and helping. And so I think it's a great, from that standpoint too.
I agree. Thank you, Deb, for adding that. And that actually brings us to the end of our PowerPoint slide. So now we're going to answer some of the questions. And I know we've been answering a lot of them as they come up. I have one here that I'd love to jump into, and then we'll keep answering them as they come up in the chat. So the question is, what assistance would we receive from the university to find an internship during the completion option? I'll open that to Deb and Tim.
Yes, so I want to be very clear about this. We do not find jobs for students. Well, that would be nice, but I don't think any university finds jobs for students. We do have relationships with a lot of different employers. We have job fairs. We have a special course that you do in the middle of your MGM program that is a career prep course. it's like, it's a must-have because you get such valuable learning from our dedicated career and learning advisors. They help you translate your skills into a different job, what your strategic sort of goals are for your career. They help you with your resume, they do mock interviews, and they help you with your job, helping you like look through those job offers, what's going to be the best fit for you. They protect you from fraud. They're just hand-holding you through the process, and the career advisors are wonderful. So our program is a bit unique in that a lot of universities have co-op in the middle of their program. So you do some courses, then go work, and then come back. Ours is designed to be at the end of the program combined with this applied research piece, so that you can really kind of finish strong and move right into a job. And a lot of folks that do the internship do get jobs straight from that. But our students get great jobs, but they have to work for them, and it's their search because they have unique needs. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but.
And I'll just add
Go
that
ahead.
I think some of the best jobs that we have seen come through are job opportunities that students created for themselves with the
Yes,
support of our career management.
yes,
So
they
not waiting for postings, but
yeah.
created those opportunities.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, because there's a job posting, right? And then once you combine the applied research with it, a lot of them have redesigned the scope of those jobs, and that's really cool. Yeah, there's a question.
Another question around the MBA and MGM, because I know people are always kind of trying to determine what the difference is. If you could go into what the difference between an MBA and MGM, the question is, somebody is more inclined towards an MBA to move forward in their technical career, but they're wondering how an MGM could help them move forward in their career compared to an MBA.
An MBA is not for a technical career. I think an MBA is for management, business administration. It's for management career. An MGM can fit both individual contributors and management contributors. It's Masters of Global Management. Yes, we want to teach you management skills, but a manager can be a role or a job. Everybody demonstrates their leadership in many different ways. So I think the MGM is just more flexible in terms of a variety of career options afterwards, whereas MBA is more designed for management purely. That's my take on it. Now, having said that, sometimes you'll have different universities with MBAs that specialize in the whole MBA is a specialization, like finance, for example. And then you would use it for a technical career. But at Railroads, ours is designed for management leadership. So it depends on the program outline, I would say. MGM is just more broadly flexible. And there's a question in here about the individual courses too and how it helps. So each of the courses in MGM are lined up along the functional roles. So what do you need to, lead people and work in organizations? You need to know about marketing. You need to know about, international trade and geopolitical issues. You need to know about leadership. You need to know about economics and finance and accounting. And we have an ethics course, change management. How do you lead people through change? There's a research course. And the final program is a strategy course, bringing it kind of all together. The very important foundational course in the first quarter is how to read and write in an academic way, in a more credible way, building your critical thinking skills. And the other course that I teach, intercultural skills, because in today's world, I mean, all leaders need intercultural competencies, I believe. So the courses are functional in that they line up to these things, and then the specializations come at the end. Hope that makes sense too. Now I need to catch up on the chat. Was there other ones, Emara and Tim and I could? Tim, do you see any?
I've been following a lot of chat today, which is great. Something that I wanted to just make a mention of, we've had a few people who have applied and are wondering about their application and haven't heard back yet. So if you're wondering about the status of your application, it does take about, on the international side, just reading the comment here, it does take about 14 weeks to hear a response. But if you're wondering about your status, if you email learn.more.international@royalroads.ca and provide your application ID number, they can look into that for you. Is that correct, Kelsey? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'll just jump on. Might be easier to talk and type than type. Yeah, and just for international applicants, just because of the study permit piece of it and Immigration Canada's processing times, we always recommend it's best to apply 6 to 8 months before your preferred start date, just to allow enough on our side to get you an admission decision, as well as enough time for Immigration Canada to process your study permit application. So you have that secured before your program start date, because you will need that. In regards to document submission, I think there was a couple questions about that. So we can accept scanned unofficial copies of your transcripts or mark sheets, as well as your certificates of completion. We can complete our admission assessment on those. If you're admitted to the program, though, we will need officials received in a sealed institutional envelope, and that would be a condition of admission that would need to be cleared before your program start date.
And I see there's a question from Timothy, and then there's also a comment I'll just answer quickly from Taranji. Yes, we do have events, ongoing events. We had one last week. We do Action Insight series where we have, just interesting topics of interest, emotional intelligence. Last week was Indigenomics, the incredible economic field there. So there's always lots of pieces. Last week we had one on our YouTube channel about data analytics, or taking the mystery out of artificial intelligence. So there's ongoing. We have different groups too, Facebook groups, alumni groups. Yeah, lots of connection there. So Timothy had their hand up. Now it's down, maybe, I'm not sure.
It looks like their hand is down now. Yeah.
Event page, thanks for that, Emara. Yeah, once you're in the scholarly and the learning community, never stop learning. That's for sure. Learning is what keeps us young.
I know we're coming to the end of our session today, and thank you to the enrollment team for answering all of those things in the chat, and thank you, Deb and Tim, for today's presentation and sharing your insight and knowledge about the program. Deb, Tim, I wanted to ask, is there any final words that you'd like to share with the people in the room today, or the people listening to the recording later, about the MGM program, or anything that you'd like to share?
Well, I hope that we've painted a picture and that it's appealing to you, whatever your choices are. We wish you well in your learning journey. That's always a good decision. It's never a wrong decision to invest in your education. And we hope to see you soon. Tim?
Yeah, and I'll just add that it is a powerful, recognized credential. It is different. It is a fairly young credential, so it is an opportunity for any student that has an MGM to really showcase what they can do, what they're capable of, and where they fit into organizations. And we have seen so many powerful, powerful success stories of students doing wonderful things with the MGM. And as we have more graduates out there, it is getting more recognized as a credential that fits with today's market needs and industry needs.
That's a good point. I mean, I think we have well over 1,000 graduates now. Yeah. Yeah, it's a growing community. I know employers are saying, where can I get more of these MGM people? The MGM has its own kind of culture. We call it MGM-ness.
MGM, yeah. And we really look forward to working with you and getting to know all of you and supporting you in your amazing individual journeys.
Thank you all. Thank you. And with that, I hope everybody here has a wonderful rest of their day, and don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions at all. Thank you. Take care.